911, what is your emergency? This is how can I help you?
911 emergency, what are you reporting?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch. Because if we're speaking dispatch, we're speaking your language right to you. So you should be listening to us. This is going to be a special episode. Not like on the TV shows where special episodes indicated somebody was in trouble. This is a special episode because we're going to kind of recap what happened in the past season and talk about some of the stuff that happened, maybe some ideas we came up with, maybe some things that have occurred during these things. We're going to talk a lot about all the episodes we filmed. Just to give you a heads up, we have filmed already or put on, what should I say, episodes? 57 full episodes and 8 special episodes with different things on there. So today we have our great crew with us. We got Joe over there. Joe, how goes it in your part of the world?
Absolutely beautiful. It's went from the 90s the last few days down to like one day was 68. We've had some fall weather, summer weather. It's back and forth. So a couple nice days here.
Man, that's crazy. John, how goes the East Coast area over there?
We're good. We're good. Less humidity last 2 days. Thank heaven.
Yes, and I heard the humidity is coming back this weekend. So that's just a welcome sight over here in Middle Tennessee. So Leslie, how goes beautiful Southern California?
It's sunny and warm every day. No weather to speak of. It did get up into the hundreds over the weekend.
God.
And yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yikes.
Today, I think it was upper 80s. So our air conditioner has been kicking on at 7 in the morning over the weekend. It didn't come on until about
Clearly, you're not listening to your governor who said he wants the thermostats all set to 78. So clearly, you're not abiding by that.
That's a whole other episode.
Power grid.
We have no time for that.
I'll put a call into Gavin tonight. So we'll get him
Okay,
out.
could you?
So,
Thank
yes.
you.
All right. So, hey, let's talk about these episodes because our very first episode was a long time ago, over a year ago. And man, we were so new at this stuff.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to We Speak Dispatch. I'm Joe, here today with Leslie, Doug, and John. Our lighthearted discussion will offer some different perspectives, opinions, and new ideas in our dispatch
New
world.
at this stuff. We had just started this thing, and it kind of transformed from when we were doing the happy hours and we were all kind of indulging in adult beverages and things like that. And it sort of transformed this. So our first episode, we're so like, my goodness, I watched it the other day and I was like, man, we were like children in this thing. So it was so staged. We're like, I am very happy to be here. Thank you.
It was pre-vaccine.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So that our first episode was leadership. We were talking about from peer to supervisor, when you get promoted for in-house and that kind of what the problems are with that kind of stuff. So we had a lot of great things out there. So let me ask you all a question out there. What was one of your like most memorable topics that we talked about out of all 57 of these things? Which one kind of sticks with you? You're like going, man, that was a good one. Or this one really made me think, or this one was a little more controversial or whatever it might be out there. So who wants to go first?
Not me.
All right, Joe, go ahead.
Does.
Yeah. One that really sticks out, an old one and a new one. I'll give you two.
Okay, wow, 2 for 1.
The old one that really sticks out for me is the pursuits.
Pursuits, yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about foot chases and car chases and the challenges and ramifications that these may have for 911 dispatchers.
Yeah, we talked about foot pursuits, we talked about vehicle pursuits, and then we had some people mention some famous pursuits that they were involved in that even hit the news. I thought that episode was just great. And then one that we did recent that I thought was maybe even underrated a little bit was security at the comm center.
Is we're going to talk a little bit about preparation security for your buildings.
And talking about employees coming into work, leaving work, and making sure that they're safe. I just thought that was an excellent topic.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's actually, I mean, it's a pretty hot topic at the moment with all the stuff going on in our world out here. So John, how about you? What was one of your more favorable episodes?
Okay, so since Joe said 2, I guess so now you just
kind of
raised
kicked
the
it
bar.
off.
So I'm going to kick off early, just looking at the list and thinking back of it was about making training fun.
How do we make training fun? And especially for our new people coming in, how do we make it fun for them as well as
on social media groups involving 911 dispatch and the passion that we have for training? It's still a struggle at the comm centers. So I highly recommend folks recheck that episode. for some suggestions, just some overall dialogue, just some things that be like, ooh, I never tried it in that way, something different. And the other episode that stuck out was dispatching and handling fire calls.
Things that we have not discussed yet on We Speak Dispatch is the topic of fire call taking and fire dispatch.
Calls.
So I wanted
a lot of time we talk about law enforcement because we all have that background,
Yeah.
but not all of us have fire EMS dispatching. So just to change that, just change the dialogue and topic up a bit for those that only deal with fire related calls or secondary PSAPs.
That was the episode that Joe put me on the spot with that.
I remember that.
Yeah, what was this great idea? And I said and I forgot. And it was basically just if somebody calls, reports a fire, ask them, did you see it start?
Did you see it start?
So
Yes.
I wrote that thing down. Now I have it all over the place. I don't want to ever forget it again. That was crazy. So, all right, those are good episodes. Wow, that's because of Leslie. How about you? And you got to do 2 because Joe kicked it off with 2. John
I know.
It 2,
I really
2.
wanted to drop the ball that John passed to me. I think some of the ones that we've had the most fun doing is obviously around training. So kind of what John's talking about. And then scheduling. We have
911.
Favorite topic that I know always lights up the phones when we talk about this. The topic is scheduling.
We have so much controversy and conversation about the perfect schedule and overtime and all that stuff. So I think that one was really, really good because that's always, it doesn't matter where you go in the country, you talk to another dispatcher, what schedule are you on? So those are mine too. What about you?
And what's really funny about that scheduling one is that one came because we were not filming or doing an episode, and we were all talking about it going, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think you, Leslie, said, let's do an episode on this thing. So it was like, that's kind of a good
thing that we did there was we almost did a full month. I mean, there's vacation pics, there's filling time off, there's calling in sick. I think we almost did 3 or 4 episodes focused around scheduling.
I just saw somebody put up on one of the Facebook groups out there about what do you do when somebody calls in sick? How do you backfill? How do you schedule? And I'm like, this scheduling issue is out there still. And I'm telling them, like, go check this out. We're talking about it. Maybe they can come on and talk about it too. So it's important to have that kind of stuff. I mean, I think mine were kind of surprising to me because I'm not usually into this kind of stuff, but these kind of touchy things, like Glenna usually brings them up.
Yeah.
And I was like, they really kind of got me thinking about stuff. And I'm like, oh man, it is important to kind of acknowledge that, we do need peer support and stuff like that. And I talk about it in classes now when I'm teaching because
and that's talking about teams and the importance of teamwork as it relates to a couple of different things. The aftermath of a critical incident, how to work with a team, the importance of having the team concept for officer safety or first responder safety, and just being part of something bigger. So I
really feel the need for it, that I'm like, I hate to even admit it, but it's one of these things where it's like, I never would have thought, I would have said like shootings or some darn thing, but it's like just this whole thing of peer support and the importance of it. And just talking about stuff is so important in our comm centers that we don't even think about it. And I just saw somebody on a Facebook thing today. I don't follow this, but it came up and they were just complaining about everything. They hated the job and everything. I'm like, why are you here? Is it because you've been allowed to be dysfunctional that you've done this? And it just, craziness out there. So, all right, so here's another question for y'all. So what is one thing, since we started this a year ago, what is one thing that you did back then that you now don't do anymore? Because you're like, okay, I know how to do this now. And I'm talking like with us filming this thing or whatever. What is something that you started way back? Because I watched the first one today. And man, we were all very green. I'd like to talk to you, Doug, about this. It's just crazy. And I'm like, what have we done back then that we've kind of figured it out now and we kind of got it down? What's that thing out there? What is it?
I would say the number one thing is it's okay for us to be more of ourselves. We, like you said, we were really, Leslie, what do you think of that topic?
Yeah,
Doug.
that's true. That's true.
And now we're just more like nonchalant. We're a little more laid back and just being ourselves on these and giving our honest input to what the questions are.
Yeah.
Right.
And also double checking that I have a background that doesn't look like weird pictures. Like you guys, even though they were my Iowa Hawkeye pictures on the wall of basketball, football, and wrestling, you guys, they were so far away on the camera
like
that everybody thought they were like wolves and stuff. And so,
Joe likes wolves, I guess.
There's no need for a new alpha. I'm the alpha.
Got some kind of thing going.
I just make sure that my background is either blank or a virtual one or something along those lines.
That's cool. I mean, we all learn stuff out there. How about you, John? What did you learn from our very first times all the way to now that you said, I won't do that anymore. I'm getting better at this or that or whatever.
You know, I really haven't thought of it, to be honest.
You be a good sport and indulge us and just tell us a little more.
But
That's
I
why I
will
threw it
say,
at
to probably like coordinate schedules because we're all in different time zones.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, thinking of what time is it really out in the West Coast versus the East Coast? Even just getting together today, I was an hour off. So it kind of goes back to the scheduling thing that you talked about of the episode, but like in a different realm of things. I do agree with Joe. You know, we were kind of just testing the waters early on. As you were saying, we were green, and now we're like, okay, yeah, just keep it up. And the one thing that's always stuck in my mind, quite honestly, Doug, is something you said way back when, is like, when we start this, just say like we're all getting together at a bar or a coffee shop and we're just talking shop.
Yeah.
And I agree with Joe. We've just become more relaxed at it, and we just, through casual conversation between us, we're like, that'll be a great episode.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, damn, we got to do it. I mean, our texting is, okay, we have like probably 15 in the queue that we could do.
Oh yeah.
Just different topics.
Yeah. Especially when we stop recording, then we're all like, going, hey, you know what happened the other day? So I'm like, dang it. Should have said
Save
that.
it for an episode.
Yeah. All right, Leslie, what did you learn back then, or you did back then that you won't do this time now?
Just to echo what everybody else.
Maybe.
Well, and just being more comfortable. And I think probably it's not just here, but all of us.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Have become so comfortable with sitting in front of our computer. Sometimes we're the only ones in the room and having conversations.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just been a learning process through the pandemic, and then just through the 57 plus 8 episodes that we've just become kind of, hey, yeah, we're just hanging out, having a chat. So
yeah, and that's why I see the same thing. I mean, obviously I've changed backgrounds because I've moved where I was, trying to come up with
That's
different
right. You were in California when we
Yeah.
started.
And I had that crazy skyscraper one behind me and the cave and and I'm like going, it's just so much better to be like just where I work. This is where I do my work, right here in this office. And it's like, and I do like the fact that we're all so kind of casual about this stuff and kind of talk about issues, whatever.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, John, the biggest thing that we were talking about this before we started recording was the scheduling. And Jill has to do this stuff. And she is like coordinating all of us with different time zones and guests that are coming in and all this stuff. And I'm like, I just ask her, okay, what do you got? And she's like, okay, they can only do it at this time. They can only go at this time. And we got to kind of figure it out. And it's like, so my hat's off to her for that, because she's really doing a lot of stuff on that.
Mine too. She's the
Thank
hero that makes this go, man. She's constantly reminding us, checking with us. It's 7 p.m. Joe, your time. John, don't come on till 8.
Yeah.
And she keeps track of like all of us.
I don't know how she does it, to be honest with you. I'm always like surprised because I just ask her, what time are we going on? She'll say like 8. I'm like, is that 8 my time? Joe's time? John, Leslie, what time is it? It's like,
it's a mess.
Yeah, it's
really
a difficult coordination of this thing, but it's coming out very nicely now. So let me ask you this question then. What is one of the topics we talked about? And you all have the list of these 57 topics we did out there. But what's a topic that maybe surprised you or made you like think, well, I didn't even think about that? There's something out there. Was there an episode? Leslie, wow, off the top. Look at that. Go ahead.
Well, and it's kind of going to what Joe mentioned earlier, that security issue, because it isn't something that we constantly talk about. So I remember going back to my agency after that and really paying attention to, okay, where are the gaps in security? What are we going to do if? And started talking to my dispatchers about, hey, if this happens, and we've actually had a couple situations where we've got a secured lot and people have driven through or jumped over the fence.
Yeah.
And so that was just kind of the, oh yeah, I know we've talked about it before, but it's one of those that you need to revisit
big time.
every few months. So that was one for me.
Wow. Okay. All right, Joe, what do you think?
I think honestly mine is a little bit different. It's the fact of how much we rely on each other. And what I mean by that is the Christmas episode that we did. And
911 emergency, we're reporting.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome to our
Merry Christmas.
we put it out to everybody.
That was fun.
Where we sent gifts to each other secretly through like some elf program or something.
Elf, yeah.
Yes.
Again, Jill set that up.
Again,
Jill set
Jill
that
set
up.
that. Jill, get in here.
I don't even remember the name of the program we used, but just how people, no matter where they're at, if they are 911, we are all one big group and family, and we can support each other no matter where we're at, even if we don't work together. So that Christmas episode just proved to me that anybody can do it no matter where you're at, and support for each other is important.
A lot of coordination. I mean, she set this thing up. What was that program you used for the Christmas episode we did? The gift exchange thing?
Oh, Elfster.
Elfster.
I know something else.
Yeah. Wow. How about you, John? What's an episode that kind of surprised you? You're like, oh, I didn't think about that, or something.
It surprised me, the Hustler episode.
911 emergency, what are you reporting?
So, and our special guest today is Katie over there. Katie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Katie. I work for an agency in Southern California. I've been dispatching for about 7 years, and I was recently a contestant on The Hustler.
Woohoo! That's why we have Katie here today.
Because I really like the show now, and I still don't know who the Hustler is after every episode. And that was cool that she even talked about it now that the non-disclosure, she can talk freely about it. That was
right.
That was a funny one, but I mean that was cool to have her on.
That was a good, and that's again Jill. I mean, she watched the episode and said, "Hold on, what's that girl's name? I'm gonna find her."
Yeah. But the other one I'd probably look at if I speaking to would be the evolving technology, like scheduling and everything else we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have the latest and greatest, and really is it good for what we do and how we do things?
Yeah.
And just to mention just things that are still out there that hasn't been touched by many agencies.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Technology is always changing in this job.
Totally.
Since John gave 2, Doug, I'm gonna throw one more out.
Oh, I threw one just for fun. The Hustler.
Yeah. If you could change one thing, we gave some excellent ideas. If we could change one thing in dispatch, what would you change?
Oh yeah.
And the ideas that went around the room were a very wide variety, and it was awesome. And it focused on staffing, retention, leadership, and something else, if I remember correct. That one was from a long time ago. But the topics that we gave were just such a common theme that all dispatch centers face that I thought that was a great episode as well.
It was. Yeah,
I want to go again then. I want to go again.
We just go down all 57.
Now she wants to go.
Well, and I also like, I don't know that surprise, but I enjoyed the ones that we have the guests on.
Mm-hmm.
So when we've had the field units, when we've had the officers come in and give their insight, and the chaplains and all of these other people, I've really enjoyed those, because it's not, because we all know dispatch in the room is dispatch in the room, but all of the things and all of the field responders and all the other issues that are out there, it's nice to get somebody's outside opinion.
Oh yeah,
outside
that's
insight.
good. All right, Jill, go ahead. What's your episode?
I don't know if you guys talked about this one, but selfishly, mine is the Centobia Dispatch.
Oh no, we didn't talk about that one. So
I really liked having them on. They're the ones where they had the center in the closet for they opened. Oh
yeah.
COVID.
And we had the police chief on, and we had the dispatcher in charge on. So go ahead, folks, introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about who you are. Go ahead.
Kristen Brooks, and I've been dispatching for about 14 years now, and started Senatobia in April.
So we'll talk about how you started the dispatch center itself in April during COVID, which is always a
wow.
And she's joined today with the chief of police. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Richard Chandler, chief of police for the Senatobia Police Department. I've been in law enforcement for right at 20 years, and started as chief here since July.
And they talked about all that stuff, and we went and saw them, and it was just incredible that they started with basically nothing and became.
And hopefully, I think they're
big thing.
probably in their new building now, so we should probably take a visit down
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah.
What about the dispatcher from the tiny little
Texas
agency
town.
where the guy walks in in the lobby?
Oh, yeah.
Get warm here. All right, and our special guest today, we're so lucky because she was just in the news. And so we'll have her introduce herself. Tell us who you are, mystery guest.
I am Chris Buckner. I am from Texas, where it's not really cold at all right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
God.
a good one too. I mean, we had some really great guests, and I know sometimes people, when we call them, they're like, oh, I don't really have nothing to say. And then you get them on here and you start asking them, and they're like, oh yeah, I did this and that and all these and this cool things.
Right.
So, I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, some of the episodes that I was just watching today, just over, you know, as I'm researching for this today, was, I mean, some not so fun episodes, but episodes that meant a lot. I mean, the Mike Becker tribute, I mean, I think that was so good because Mike was friends to all of us, and it was kind of this horrible thing that he passed away, and it just, we could give our condolences, you know, via this medium we have here. That was a great one. And the LASO, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department shooting that they had, that was some stuff out there. The Nashville bombing that we talked about. I mean, that was not very far from us. And you know, all the other stuff. And we have Ricardo Martinez on us a couple of times, and he did a shout out to us.
What is going on? 2 people have signed on from We Speak Dispatch. Make sure to check them out. They're on Facebook, Twitter. Help me out here. You guys are watching. Make sure to check them out. A great group of individuals who all are together. They do good stuff. Make sure to check them out.
And Dare to Be Great when that was coming out. So I mean, we've done a lot of great episodes, and I encourage everybody out there to just go back and listen to a couple of episodes. Go and get it on podcast or whatever. It's just, I would listen to a couple the other day, and I was like, they're really old, but I was listening to it really old, like a year ago. But I listened to it, and I was like, hey, we got some good ideas, man. It's like, what the heck? We do. So,
But and the good thing is they're all still relevant.
Absolutely.
Even if today we're what, 58, 59, and I go back
58 today, yeah.
Yeah, I go back to episode 1. I bet what we talked about nearly a year ago is relevant today.
Yeah. Well, it's the first one we did was peer to supervisor, and it's like, I hear that a lot where people are like, hey, I got promoted a couple months ago and I'm not really sure. I'm kind of uneven what I should do. And it's like, it's still occurring out there. So everything we're talking about is still relevant. You can still go look at it. And we're heard all over the place. Joe, how many countries are we up to right now?
Oh God, I think we're 20 or 21. It's
21 countries.
Really crazy, but I'm really happy. The last one came on. I let you guys know. The last country to hear us was Sweden, and that's where my stepdad was from before he passed away of cancer.
Oh wow,
and
Sweden!
Taught me how to interview for jobs and how much work you should put into that. And
yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons I got some of the jobs I did was because of him. So seeing his hometown country, listening to We Speak Dispatch was just special to me.
It's so cool to see that kind of stuff. And last year we had 5,000 plays on something, and it was like, I mean, we're just all over the place. So we're on every social media you could think of. We're on every podcast you could think of. We're everywhere out there. So, we definitely thank all of our special guests that have come on over the past year. I mean, you've all really stepped up to the plate and really helped us out. And if you are out there listening to this right now thinking, I want to be included in that group, then you need to let us know and send us a message or direct messages or whatever, and we'll bring you on. Maybe you just want to ask the question. I'll bring you on for 2 seconds while you come on the screen saying, hey, the question's this. It's fine. I'll do whatever it takes. So we want everybody to be participating in this thing because it's all about you. It's all about you guys. It's all about dispatch.
And don't be surprised now that the pandemic is kind of over. Conferences are opening up, in-person classes are opening up. So if you see us at a conference or taking a class or something like that, and you want to film a shout out or do something and we can put it in here, absolutely. Don't be surprised if you see us coming live from various and assorted places. You may see us out there.
There's a couple of conferences coming up in the next few months where I got a feeling that some of us will be together on some of these things. So maybe we could film a remote location and do it that way. And that could be a couple of those. We could do a couple of those. We have some good locations coming up, and a couple of locations we're all going to be, or not all of us, but some of us are going to be together on each one of these things. So We could definitely do that. But we definitely appreciate everybody listening and paying attention to us and just giving us a chance to give you 15 minutes of just fun stuff to think about and questions to go, wow, what are we going to do about that kind of stuff? So I definitely appreciate everybody. I'm sure all of you do too. So thanks very much, everybody. Go out and make it a great day, because you know we all will.
Hi, this is Courtney, and you've been listening to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch, proudly sponsored by our friends at Zybex.